Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Who wants to overthrow Museveni? That's why I've ended up getting nothing. Because there is an umbilical cord between those who want to overthrow Museveni and Museveni is Museveni.
Okay.
So you end up, I don't work for the opposition. I work for Ugandans. I analyze Zimbabwe's.
Opportunity you see Ugandans.
I analyze Zimbabwe's into Agenda Kuba Museveni. I analyzed him.
Okay.
I analyzed Zimbabwe's, Nimubabulida, Nimbaganti, Mbabazi, Agenda Kuba Museveni. Kakati banu enali mwe bagikubidde wali awo temanyi propaganda. These things happen in America. There was a time when BBC broadcast photos of the British soldiers torturing people in Iraq. The commander, the equivalent, the British equivalent of your army commander came up and said, "These are my soldiers. I can identify them with their uniform. We are going to punish them." But the Mirundis of Britain sat and said, "What do you get by recognizing, accepting that these are British soldiers?" You see these Europeans, when they go back, and Americans, like when you go back to your barracks, they make a procession in the city to get more recruitment. Batandika okuba kubeeranda ne bakuba amayinja amajja agakumbanga bagakuba amayinja anger because of the photos. What did the British government do? They said they started with the BBC manager and said the photos were computer manipulated. He resigned to protect the British Army. What about USA? When a smart bomb hit a bunker that was supposed to where Saddam was hiding, and he ended up killing women and children. Saddam trapped them, the Americans, because he knows the psychology of these Europeans and Americans. They don't want to see corpses of children and women.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The war was turning against the Bush. What did they do? They called the spin doctors. Where he was, Museveni centers were Mukodomiwe. Mukodomiwe n'atasasula na buledio. N'obuledio bw'omukyalo bumubanja. Centers were Mukodomiwe. You continue kuzimu, but you will not use us.
Okay.
We are brain, we shall not work for nothing. We came to government to get money. One of the definitions of political science is who gets what. Twaje tubasibira bugwa bwengatu. Twaje tubandike detala. Twaje lwaboko yali esente nga fetutundi. Kakati mbagamba nti bano tebayina gundi. At one time the Tanzanian parliament investigated and found out that the former president Joseph Mukapa had sold a gold mine to his family. How did they handle the matter?
Gold mine y'eggwanga.
Kibaki yaleeta abasajja bamukolera akalulu. Laira n'agamba nti simanyi bafuddewo Ukraine. Batemu baki. Ne bakuba n'ebyuma ne bawukya ebyuma byali bya nation babaaki. But the Kenyans get spin doctors. At one time, Ali Shahab killed a battalion of Kenyan soldiers. They mined the area and the reinforcement could not come easily. Their commander, the equivalent of your commander, General Mwasis, told the Kenyans, if we want to know the impact of the attack, you compare the breast that he hit Ufundi building and multiple hit by city. When these people went to Westgate and they said, the newspapers reported that the Kenyan soldiers routed Westgate and went to Purudingi Bufera. The then commander of the Kenyan army, General Kalanja, said, retract the story. Retract it.
Okay.
But here, their problem is that they lack spin doctors because the battle is inside the palace and we are spectators. If you want me to do a job, hire me. But coming back to kill me, no.
Okay.
In fact, the government, the Museveni that I supported for 8 years ago was powerful. This one, kuzi.
Hey. Wagira ngaliye kati yali wamanyi okusinga kuona.
Yanti order. An old man is generous. That's what they tell us. That a country benefits from a president at old age. Eyanga Nyerere could not accept the Humanity Party. Eyanga Kawunda could not accept to be defeated by Chiruba.
Okay.
No.
Kakati
nti nababuulira ne mbagamba nti abeena mu tebalina media.
Okay.
Having worked with them 14 years, I looked at their wiki points. They are lucky that I didn't go to the opposition. If I had joined the opposition, they would feel it. A joke you sit between the paddocks. Not to get into to joke, but you cannot play around with the brain of fellow. Nakugam. In my area submission, I pointed out that many NRM supporters wrongly think that the opposition is dominating the airwaves. The reasons for this are many and include the following. Number one, no false propaganda. NRM does not believe in perpetuating falsehood propaganda. These only appeal to emotions, but NRM believes in intellectual engagement that appeal to logic. For example, when NRM sticks on pro-people policies like a universal primary education, UPE, and universal secondary education, USE, as well as prosperity for all, immunization, and many others, these are realities on the ground that only require perfection. If NRM were to engage in the type of propaganda conducted by the opposition, it would require colossal sums of money. Therefore, thereby affect these very poor people mass programs. Tebafulumya sente oluzikwatazi wa mukodomi we yabeera wano nadira basituugizi n'abateekayo bano mu gundi mwena ali mu secretariat lwoboko n'olido lwoboko n'akwata kaliisa lwoboko n'akwata all the money in propaganda.
Okay.
Bibazekwatira. But they were lucky nti balina people's policies nga zeeyogerera zokka. The way in Rwero was progressing on issue was an automatic plane.
Okay.
Kati mu byonna byetaaga defense.
Bira okwogerera
nnyo. No doubt. This time kakati abaganda baga nti agafumye abaganda bagabejjereza taba. Babaite bamenye kusenya manyi basenya bwebati. You must now repaint the building. Kubanga they are suffering from political inertia. When a system overstays in power, we call it political inertia. And they have no capacity to reinvent it.
Okay.
When you are fighting, do you get the time to realize that your house is cracking?
No.
Yes. Number 2. Unique history. Ugandans have gone through unique situations usually compared to the life of a divorcee. At independence, we had the Kabaka, the KUPC alliance, which did not last. Mutesa II, in his own book, The Discretion of My Kingdom, states that after the independence ceremonies, Obote did not get time to meet him again, had just used Uganda as a ladder to become prime minister. In 1969, Obote declared a single-party state, effectively banning all other political parties, like the opposition Democratic Party. He was deposed by Idi Amin, was removed by Idi Amin. He himself, kakati all this time, tubadde tulina generation ejjukira ebyayita okubonaabona kwe tubaddemu kubadde kufuuza bino ebikolebwa drizzle. You are now saying, hey, can this happen in Museveni's government? Museveni would say, in my family, if a needle disappeared, Mama Fenga, Tuluginonya. How can a human being disappear in a kabuth? Never told you about
Yakola statement. That's what kubira ku ntebe na kulembere gwanga. Abantu nga batumaso kuzura nyabatta. Namamve
was a dungeon where many soldiers could kill and throw bodies for their relatives to collect. Museveni had transformed it into an industrial area. Kati kitegeeza bino biwalinga abantu. Omanyi bw'oba kirini obanga obadde oli intelligent. Nze nagula I have jails in my house. I have 4 families. I have about 80 jails. Empingu. I instructed my children. The moment I start talking rubbish, tie me. Sifuluma. And intelligent Mirundi nti omusajja aweddemu nti kubanga noboka ntaddeko embago nti sikuba masoti. Ejjukuli besuti bemutoka bya Mercedes Benz. Ejjukuli olimu Perwabogo malemo bujozo. That's what I do. I have enjekere.
Okay.
The moment I start talking rubbish, I instructed my children to tie me in enjekere. Kakati, this is what they are doing to Museveni. You can easily be scared about a small incident.
Nemuze Tamale bina byeyogera pesa Museveni ne General Muhoozi kanyoga temanyi bantu temanyi atulugunya bantu.
That's where I disagree with the president. These people bamuzanyide ku kintu kimu nti bamunda
bamunjuye mwenyini.
These are people inside the government and who are untouchables. Let me tell you, Kandiho, the ISO director, sat with somebody and decided to deceive Museveni and get money. You see, Museveni is mean. When you are mean, they know that Museveni is like a blood. It goes where it is needed.
Okay.
Kakati manyi no mubaza. It is mean. Tumujja ko tutya sente.
Ko muzayi mugumu.
Amukoledde tamuwa mulimba gwawa.
Mulimba okumufuna ko.
Era kati bagamba gwe tubuusa Museveni gye tugenda omusajja tumubuusa gumbuulire ebyo. Kakati these people sad.
Zerekera okubeera omugumu bajja
kandiko. Walagiro ekisajja nekikuba omwana ngenda kitta. But kyasa omutwe mpaza ogende nakyo omwanda we. Bagamba nti let us deceive Museveni that Nubu wants to ban the city. Museveni panicked. He does not panic, but he took a concern. Arrest, preempt them, arrest them, put them in a campus. Bakola birala.
Bakuba migo, bakuba masasi.
Maje, omuli Muhoozi. Boge bali banoonya.
Okay.
How come that the photos coming from torture chambers find their way to the international
community?
And somebody conducts himself as a savior. When you hear Lwabogo njaba kubira katambi ka Lwabogo, when you see soldiers patrolling the city, then it means the government has collapsed. Why do you torture people? Lwabogo is a reformist. A tape where he accuses these people. Don't that is Muhoozi. That's my brother. Katikitegeeza babamanyi. Babamanyi.
What have they done?
Babwe. Let me tell you. Zake and Bobby Wine were in Western Nile. And the president says there was an attempt on his life. A tractor was Tinga. Bobby Wine, what brought problems of Bobby Wine? Bobby Wine was hiding in a syringe in a building, but he was ringing, making calls. That's how he was traced.
Okay.
Kakati, driver wa Bobby Wine, and what other people don't know. When the president promised Njuba's family that he was going to support their daughter, which did not materialize, because they found out that in the case of a by-election, the person who has been removed by parliament, by court, if he is not removed because of lack of academic papers, he goes back. Kati omwana wa Njuba yali tasobola kukola ki? Kudda kuyingira omusajja naye nga the Njubas have a strong hatred and interest wano gyenina ku Lwabogo okwakwaza family yaffe ne Njuba yali agiina ku oyo omusajja yabawaabira mu by election mu election n'abatuusa ne mu East African Court of Appeal. The Njuba family hated him. Yabaavuwala. Kakati Museveni bw'ata omwana teyamuwa na kifo yadde obwala this. Eventually the girl died of starvation, of frustration. Omwana wa Njuba. The campaign team assembled by Njuba's daughter was surrendered to Bobby Wine. The driver who was killed in Western Nile was not Bobby Wine's driver. Had been recruited by the Njuba family to drive Njuba's daughter during the campaign. It tells you how angered they were. And this woman in Njuba is a whole heroine. Yalwana mu nsiko. Njuba yalwana mu nsiko. Bakwata tiimu yaabwe nga Museveni tazzeemu kulabika. Ne bagiwa Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine yajja nayo inspecting n'amalalo g'abba. Is Njuba a woman who wants to get involved in an affair with a younger man? He was expressing anger like me. Kakati nkubira negamba nti ne Bobi Wine enkuba gye baamukubamu ne bamugana okusula ng'apangisiza ekiryandongo akawala akalinga empiki bwe kati ne kamugana okusulamu n'asula ku kkubo. Do I get perturbed? It's only because now they were done to people who did not have this type of media that they want to have torn apart and continue tearing this newspaper, monitor apart to express anger. I'm annoyed as a journalist, as a professional journalist, that you reach this level. European Union, what union? Yes. How many times have these Europeans and Americans exerted pressure on Israel and does not hear it, and they give it more money? The question is not to identify one, it should be universal. Who is this man? Look at Abashajja. How many wives does he have?
Principal Chagulanyi yavuddeyo n'asaba Western world balekera okufaaninga njimu yaabwe. Kubanga sente ze bagiwa okugifaaninga ezikozesa kutochalinga bannayuganda.
Let this man, you see the Baganda have a good proverb. The already Baganda were wise. It's only people like Mpuga and sometimes they are a mixture. The problem in Buganda is a nationality. We are not a tribe. We are a mixture.
A mixture.
Yes. Okay. That's why you see conflicts. You at times you use a wrong apparatus to solve an experiment. Muganda. We are a nationality.
Not a tribe.
We are not tribes. Muganda will tell you, if you reject something, a plant, reject both the leaves and the fruits. Let Bobi Wine and his party stop getting money from government.
What kiki otegeeza?
Inezine za iPod ziveewo. Ne sitting ziveewo. This is money.
Parliament tebaddayo nga bafumye tebaddamu okuyingira.
Muslim like you. When you reject roasted pork, you also reject boiled pork.
Yes.
You also reject sausage pork. Then I will give my hand this
to Bobi Wine.
I will risk COVID and shake hands openly with Bobi Wine that you are really mad.
Singa NUP ezira sente zonna eziva mu gavumenti.
Yes.
Musala baguveeko.
Yes.
Tebadda mu parliament.
Yes.
Tebadda mu council.
Yes.
iPod sente bazite.
And why don't you say the money should be given to us who are credible? Because Museveni is a very cunning man, very strategic. Their districts, the gamblers were in charge of where the people in charge who determine destination, who determine the development, the programs under the opposition. Bwanika is not a government man.
Abed.
The mayor of Masaka is now a dumping place. He's a dumping everybody, dump until the Masaka people rise up.
Bulikikola bakasukeeyo.
Baguvaba police, beba commander bamaje beba ndipo ndaba bagobeyo. Masaka is becoming a dumping place because the people there. Nabaga nti umukazi Glorious Ndamanya share the same names with one of my wife. I know her. She's a mafia agent. She's planted here and there and there and there.
Zetamalirika nawe.
Andi nkugambi mumwanyi. Kabane gwegamba nti this money, why do I punish Ugandans? Why don't I say that you pinpoint these people?
No, sende zive bweru.
Siwanyisa government.
Balabika tebazifuna.
Siwanyisa Kalugire. Nkuba lwagogo yankubye okunnyono na lwagogo. Betu gyokufaafaagana.
Balabika sente bazifuna.
Mutto olweggulo. Nja kwongera okuba obutambi obulinga ettaka. Nagaana yali ayagala butambi bwange sijja bumuwa. Presidential project yonje pamiemu tayinza kujjayo mutwe bobutambi nadduka
Mzee Tamale sende zogerwako ezivuebe bunenge tutuzifuna
why do you operate
sende zigula mundu zigula tear gas atatulugunya abantu.
No, let me tell you who manufactures this tear gas, and let me tell you that's where you make it wrong. Was this man tortured in a police cell, or they are talking about the same way? And if they are talking about the same way, how would you make the same way man a diplomat? Even Southern Sudan Square Pass, Kidima Chido Wacho, used the banana leaves must go back to the plantation.
Southern Sudan at Kolechi.
Kandiko come one away. Kandiko should not get here. Where do you take a Kandiko when everybody is talking about the same way? Why do you accept why the Sudanese government should accept a stinking man like Kandiko?
He should come back.
The Baganda have a proverb, a kidiba jidawa wachesani kumrusuku. Go back to the plantation.
Akade katuwedeko na mbanja nanyo kone kutare sita amaje wagamu go muko ba supporters ba UPDF wano mukusia ti Uganda ni UPDF inakuno kagundi ya editoriate banga bali mukuba abantu juzi wanoleba abantu officer go bakuya masasi
UPDF bikola defend UPDF why as long as UPDF restricts itself its role of defending the country against aggression that's it bakola bulungi. When the terrorists attacked the Ufundi building in Kenya, the Marines came, removed their ambassador Bushnet and left. Kenyan is used the BTO and sniffer dogs and guns. And when they contacted the American embassy, they told them the Marines are not prepared for that job. We don't know how to remove debris in collapsing buildings. Call of the Israelis, they are experts on this. It took the Israeli team to travel from Tel Aviv to Nairobi for 8 hours when the Americans were after removing. So, UPDF, if you want to send UPDF in administration, first train them. If you want to send them in the police,
first train them.
And the Uganda say, are you saying that a big bummed woman will be used by every man in town? Because a woman is a big bummed. So you can shoulder everybody.
No.
Why do you expect the army? What went wrong? It's the same Museveni product. Why has Museveni maintained a good army when the police is rotting? When these people cannot even explain where they spend their circle money. This way it is. I have different families, but all of my children are intelligent. They have come. Where do I have the time to talk to them? So you cannot say, Kato wange wasa siwange. No. In fact, let me tell you, as I was saying, that I'm not seeing a new trend at all. The first lady was once targeted. Kabushenga Ilizi Amuche opinion polls used to make polls where the first lady was leading her husband. And Kadaga next, and Mbabaza on 3%. Who was behind this? It was Mbabaza. Influence these ones so that Museveni concentrates on these ones and you go through. We use it in taxi business. We leave the Manda lorry to go and we squeeze and we bypass the road block. At one time, the Auditor General who is given billions, do you know what the Auditor General said in his report? No. The First Lady traveled to Israel 80 times a week. Muwanga does no geography. It takes 8 hours from Tel Aviv to Entebbe. Which means the First Lady was not landing, was not refueling.
Yaberanga mubanga bwati.
Muwanga n'engalabiyo ne sejjembe eyo kyatuddewo. This is a banana republic, as this man said. If you can tell a lie about the First Lady, what else? Muwanga ero kyatuddewo n'engalabiyo. Muwanga yagamba nabbi ettaka. I sold land. I bought land.
Walibawa.
Ninjitunda millions of dollars.
Walibawa.
Kanja kulize bako nalupo. Nibagende wa president nalu. Your son has stolen land. I said he has stolen it. I've stolen Omuchomo, you have stolen the cows. Don't talk about me again. I grabbed the land and sold it. $2 million. They thought I was a primitive man from Karagala. Did I come to light for you? To pour water for you while you are eating? To stand as an askari? We are watching you because you should eat properly. Gandhi bring salt. Gandhi bring a visa. This is not what we came for. Politics is a mutual partnership. Politics is based on respect, mutual respect, partnership, and sharing.
Politics kuli.
Demete tuwanga tugenda.
Kale. Sikina kubanga sukaona ngina kubambere.
Tuli kola mu government etali mu lwabo kajoka abantu. Tuli mulabako tumusabira tumulabeko mu government etali ya sezalawe. Ngaba mujimbye.
Muli kola mu government ya.
Tuli kola mu government etali mu lwabo.
Ajoka abantu. Ya Bobi Wine.
Bwe etali ba mu lwabo tuli kola mu.
We wow.